Many a time we say a lot of words and phrases which we don't mean literally. For example, we say, the wedding cost me an arm and a leg, which basically means that the wedding was excessively expensive and not literally that it cost me two limbs. So we say a lot of other things like we say hold up, and but we don't literally mean to hold something up. And when we say work out, we don't literally mean working outside the house. Well, that is actually one meaning of working out, which is working outside the house, but another very popular meaning is to exercise. And when we say break up, we don't literally mean to break something. Well, on second thought, it does break hearts because breakups do break hearts, right? But why am I wearing sunglasses inside the house? Is it also in reference to a phrasal verb as the title says? Not really. I just think they're cool. And also because it matches the thumbnail idea of using Salt Bay. You can take it with a pinch of salt, if you will. By the way, that means that you may believe this reason of mine, but not completely, with a pinch of salt. In the previous lesson, we learned about phrases, the type of phrases, what actually make phrases, the two categories that make phrases what they are, that they must be more than one word, and that they must have a complete meaning on their own. So today we will look at a particular type of verb phrase. Alright, so we of course also learned about the types of phrases, verb phrases being one of them. So today we will look at a particular type of verb phrase, which are phrasal verbs. So verb phrases, if you don't remember, they are phrases with a finite verb. Examples are as follows: washing the dishes, watered some plants, showering after coming home, racing against the clock. As for phrasal verbs, they are a special type of verb phrase that have a metaphorical meaning. For example, the verb phrase racing against the clock does not literally mean racing against something which is a clock. So we all know that a clock cannot actually be chased. We cannot race against a physical clock, but rather it's very easy to understand. It means to hurry because time is running out. So if we say we are chasing the clock, we are racing against the clock, it means that we have probably 10 minutes to do something, maybe 1 hour to do something very big, which it's probably not possible or practical to do in 1 hour. So things like that. Let's go to some examples. So racing against the clock, like this, there are many other phrasal verbs. Not only many, like I just Google the words phrasal verbs and Google. I just said Google, and you will see there's one website where there are over 200 phrasal verbs, and of course there are much more, many more than 200. There are probably thousands. So I just in this Microsoft Word document, I have listed 100 of them. I will not be going through each one of them, obviously, for time purposes, but let's go through some of them. All right. So when we say the words asking somebody out, it obviously means asking someone out for a date, on a date, right? The example I wrote is that Brian asked Judy out to dinner and a movie. So when we say add up to, we don't literally mean to add up something or add up to something. So that is the word, the preposition up, that doesn't actually refer to up or above. So it just means to sum, the sum of something, right? For example, your purchases add up. Maybe you brought 5 or 6 products and they add up to, or they sum up and give the value of $205.32. Blow up is nothing like up, even though the explosion may have caused debris to go up, right? Break down, so we normally say break down. We maybe not normally, but many times we say break down, not only literally like breaking down something, but also on a mental level. Like if someone has a mental breakdown, so everyone knows about this term, right? Like having a mental breakdown. So that is, the meaning is to get upset. And literally it also means to stop functioning, like a vehicle broke down. And again, even in this, the vehicle broke down, there is no meaning of down meaning below or down like up and down. That is not relevant. What it means is that it broke down. That means it stopped functioning, or it got damaged to such an extent that it doesn't function any longer. So break in. So if you realize, there are a lot of phrasal verbs with the same verb, with the same base verb, like break. Like there is break down, there are two breakdown meanings. There is break something down, there is break in, there is break up, break out, right? So we should be knowing about at least some of them, because otherwise we may become confused, because they are sometimes confusing actually to me as well. So break in. So if you ever hear or see the phrasal verb break in, that always refers to theft, or it could be like robbery, like a forced entry to a building, like someone broke in last night and stole our stereo. Stereo means like a radio. All right. So broke in. Even though the word has break or broke, or it could be like breaking in, the verb agreement may change, but the main base verb is break. So even though the word break is there, that does not refer to damaging something to such an extent that there's a breakage, or there's like something breaks down. So that is not relevant. What is relevant is that he broke his way into the hall, into the car, into the house. So that's what is important. Into a building. All right. It's not even always a building. It could be something else. Like it could be a door is there, and if someone is able to break in, that means he or she was able to like turn the lock and get some lock combinations so that he or she could open the door. So that could also refer to breaking in. And I just said it in this video, break up also means to end a relationship. And what about break out? So when prisoners break out of prison, or it just says prisoners break out, it means that they have actually escaped from prison. So this is a very, very specific meaning of this phrasal verb, which is escaping. And it's also not only about escaping, but also escaping from a prison, or it could be something not an official prison, but something where they were trapped in, like if a good guy even is trapped in a dungeon, is trapped in a locked door with a trap door, if he or she is able to break out, that is also called breaking out. All right. So it's not always prison, but always about someone being caged in or someone being locked in, and they are able to find themselves out of it. So like the word break, it has a lot of phrasal verbs. The word call also has at least two, like calling somebody up means to ring somebody up or to call him or her on the phone. So check-in is always related to hotels, right? Or even airports. So check in the hotel, and check out is literally the opposite of checking in, like leaving a hotel. So always notice this, that the word check, this is not relevant to what is actually meant. We are not checking anything when we check in to a hotel. We are not checking anything when we are checking out of a hotel. Of course we check if we have our bags, if we have all our things in our bags and everything, but that is not relevant. What is relevant is that the words together, the words check in and check out, they mean a meaning different from the singular word check, and also the preposition in or out. So let's pick and choose some examples to explain. So we all know what is give up, right? Like give up means to stop trying, to finally throw in the towel, right? So throwing in the towel, that is also a phrasal verb. Like throwing in the towel, it represents that you are giving up something. and it also giving up something, that also means to give up. So it's very much relevant to give up and giving something up. A noun can be in between the words give up. All right, so that actually can be from the same example, but here I have written them as two separate examples to make it clearer for you guys. So go out is also very much relevant to relationship dating, right? Going out with someone for a dinner, for a cup of coffee or something. So in the beginning of the video I also talked about hanging on, hanging out is also relevant. So you see the word hang, it has a lot of phrasal verbs that it can make up. Like hang up is specifically related to hanging up a call, a phone call. All right. So log in, log out, they are of course specifically related to technological, or even more specifically accounts, social media accounts. So look something up, I really like this word because it's normally related to the dictionary, but ever since the internet came in, Google came in, so you can look something up. We normally, when we speak to each other, we say search on Google or Google it, right? But a more appropriate term to use, a more appropriate phrasal verb to use is look something up. Again, it's not about looking at something that is up, it's not like that, but it is specifically related to either a dictionary or a reference book, as you can see here it's written, or a database, right? So database, of course, the best example is Google. So looking up to somebody means having a lot of respect for someone, or means having an idol, right? So we look up to Prophet ﷺ, we look up to our childhood heroes. It could be a cricketer, it could be a football, it could be anyone. It could be our father, our mother. So we all know what pass away means. Pass out is also similar, but it's not about death, it's about losing consciousness. Alright, so I think I will go to some practice examples now. So I have written here 10 questions here, so let's try to answer them. Alright, so the question is, choose the appropriate phrasal verbs from the options to fill in the gaps. Note, you may have to choose the appropriate verb form, such as adding ing or ed. What I mean here is that the word hang in there may go to here or here or here, but it could be that the verb form will change, because to make the grammar correct, to make it grammatically correct. So it could be hung in there, hanging in there, had hung in there, right? All right. So number one, instead of dash, tell me exactly what happened. So let's go through the list. So we have to choose one of them and maybe change the verb agreement. Hang in there, take it with a pinch of salt, which is in the thumbnail. Cut any corners, going the extra mile, step up your game. Beat around the bush. Okay, so I think this very much fits what the question says. So it could be, instead of beating around the bush. So also notice that it's not beat around the bush, it is beating, ing, the ing word, the ing morpheme. So that was added because the word off is here. After off, it should always be ing if it's a verb. Number two, don't look for any shortcuts for the final exam. There is no scope to hang in there, cut any corners. Okay, so that is actually a very perfect fit for this answer. Don't look for any shortcuts. So shortcuts, cutting any corners. So that is essentially the same. So I've actually written down the answer. Let me just reveal them, because I didn't want you guys to see the answer before I talked you guys through it. Number three, though I tried my best to not let my friends drink too much at the party, the situation dash to such an extent that some people even collapsed on the floor. So the situation probably like escalated, or the situation became so bad, something like that, right? The situation, no. Yes, this one. The situation was getting out of hand, or the situation got out of hand, right? To such an extent. So got out of hand. Yes, that's the correct answer. Number 4, we don't need to learn coding yet. So coding is for CSE students, for computer engineers. Yes, it is difficult and scary, but we will dash. It's probably like something like, but we will try hard, but we will do it later or something, right? So we will hang in there. It makes somewhat sense, hang in there. We will step up our game between the bush. We will cross that bridge when we get to it. So this idiomatic expression, or this phrasal verb, means that we don't have to do something right now, but afterward, when the time comes to learn coding, so then we will learn it. So you see here it's written, we don't need to learn coding yet. It's not the time, it's not mandatory for us to learn it yet, but when the time comes, then we will cross that bridge. So that's the answer. Yes, that's the answer. Alright, number 5, for whatever reason your performance is subpar, which is below the standard. Subpar, you need to dash, you need to improve something, right? You need to hang in there, you need to step up your game. That means that you need to improve your performance, right? That is very much relevant to what is written in the question. If you ever visit his house, you will know that leaving is impossible before having dinner. Alright, why? Indeed, he dash when it comes to hospitality. Okay, so hospitality means that whenever guests come, he or she will do their absolute best, or do a lot to make sure that the guests are happy, are satisfied. So indeed, he goes the extra mile. So that means that he will even do more than what's necessary, because it says that if you ever visit his house, he will force you to have dinner before leaving. So it's something like he will go the extra mile, he'll do more than what's necessary. Even though things may look hopeless now, please dash and keep trying. Please hang on, right? Or hang in there. Yes, please hang in there. Yes. Number 8, a recent Facebook ad showed that there is an IT company that urges its employees to dash after their office hours are over. Okay, so have you seen that Facebook ad actually? So I have seen it. So in that Facebook post, it was written that after someone's office hours are up, for example, if someone has to work in the office for 7 or 8 hours, so after the 7 or 8 hours are over, then the computer itself starts signaling to the person that your time is up, you should go home. So it's something like the time is up, right? The time is up, time is up. Calling it a day, that means to stop working for now. Alright, so that's the answer. Right. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Remember that before burn bridges? No, before crying wolf. So crying wolf, if you don't know, it means that to keep lying, but then at one time, because people will know that you keep lying. At that time, they won't listen to you, even if that's the truth. Alright. The last one, rather than going around in circles, I want you to dash because I'm busy. I want you to say it quickly, or I want you to do something very promptly, right? So cut to the chase. That means to start the race already, to start to go to the main point already. Yes, so that's the answer. So if you guys need more practice, please tell me in the comments, then I will try to give you more practice sessions of this. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope you stay with me on my journey to become more fluent in English.